In Vorok's homeland, Radgyria, the leader of the Self-Masters, Alex formed an alliance with him. They teamed up to battle invaders created by foreign scientists to overthrow the tyrant leader. But the people were suffering due to hostile takeovers, and key violence was the norm. Alex had enough of Radgyrian suffering, empathizing with them. The final experiment was more than a match for Master Alex. Having been depleted of his strength during the crisis, Vorok returned to the Center of Excellence with bad news and Self-Master sword for safekeeping. The leader of the Self-Masters, Alex, is no more. With this, the Self-Masters go into mourning with Alex's sword laid on a stand in his sleeping quarters. With no direct heirs, Master Lunara becomes the new leader of the Self-Masters, as Ikk intelligently refuses the position. No one blames him, as it's a serious burden on the mind, body and spirit. The world is a scheming, wicked, unforgiving place. Devils surround beings of light waiting for an opportunity to strike. Vorok leaves with a heavy heart, realizing all Master Alex had to endure. As expect, many leave the fold. Master Lunara, Valor, and a few others try to fill in the void that was left by Master Alex. 2 weeks later, Master Lunara depression is obvious. She begins to lose her ability to heal. She herself starts to age, rapidly has a white lock of hair formed on her head. The missions continue, and it's business as usual. The good guys are apparently winning. But Valor can't help sense that something is missing. He and Master Lunara have discussions about him wielding the sword of Master Alex. Turns out the sword is alive and grants the worthy user tremendous power. Valor begins training harder and spiritually cleansing himself for the task. Meanwhile, the Self-Master Levi is under attack at the waterfront. A being claiming to be God's gift to mankind is trying to subjugate him. The battle wages on, while Levi is already drained from previous fights. His 5-year layoff is beginning to show, as her attacks are wearing him down more mentally than physically. Elsewhere, the Black Queen is yelling at her son. She has a total of 7 children, but this one is a little odd. He is precocious, crying for the suffering of others, and showing tremendous signs of empathy. Black Queen power is absolute. Her ability is the power of doubt. Her words seeds of destruction in the consciousness. Holograms of Vorok and Alex's battle plays on her device. She saw the death of the Self-Master. It was brutal. They were enemies in the past, and she should be overjoyed, but she wasn't. She was distraught, and she locked herself in her living quarters. Many came to pay their respects to the fallen hero. Some were even on the side of evil. Valor finished his training and took hold of the blade for the first time. He was worthy to wield it. The sword bestowed knowledge of countless space-time events and memories. He saw the first time Triton forged the sword and gave it to Alex after a spell confused the man-god, causing him to attack children. Alex stood in his way in a short battle, even though he was severely outmatched. This bravery made him worthy of the blade after Triton was, coincidentally, able to shake off the spell. Seeing the child's reflection in the water instead of the monsters, he was facing this bravery, making him worthy of the blade. Valor saw the struggle of Alex through a type of cosmic vision of the sword. He saw the love of Lunara, the pride of the Self-Masters. He saw the sacrifice, the suffering it takes to care for others in such a way. His mind was altered by the experience, and the man who placed the sword on his back was an entirely different being. He looked out with different eyes. He saw people as literal expressions of the word. Lunara represented love, honor, trust, and loyalty. Everyone he looked at, he saw their characteristics and probabilities. It jumped out at him like 3D images. This is how Master Alex saw things all the time. No wonder he was the way he was. He looked at the young defenders and saw a maze of truth. He saw young ones' potential to become villains and criminals. He saw some with nearly definite, heroic, honorable paths. Clusters of people presented certain dangerous. As well, it was nearly overwhelming to him. Surprisingly, many on the team were only out for themselves. He saw their selfishness, their insecurities, their lack of confidence. Master Alex must have seen this as well when he was alive. Valor would have to be very, very careful. Sometime the sword would glow at night. When he grabbed it, information seemed to beam inside his head, showing him probable futures. It was his choice to move the ingredients and change the soup, so to speak. Sometimes there were 2 space-time events side by side. They looked so similar. Until the end, someone would live and someone else would die. How can he choose who lived or died as a master? He would have to make a third option where no one had to suffer at all. Is this what happened? Did Master Alex choose to die, realizing something disastrous if he lived? There were so many questions. Valor began to change. He was still a pleasure to be around, but he was more on the serious side. The sword had shown him that happiness and elation was watched by dark beings. Miserable beings will enter and sabotage your mood with a well-placed harsh word, or a plot to rejoice at your setback. The sword showed him the trickiness of politicians. A plot to poison certain groups of people. Valor spent a lot of time in meditation. He could warn the people around him, but would they listen? Later, Levi was reported missing. The others were in a panic. They were ready to take to the streets and find him. But with cosmic vision, Valor knew where he was. And he was in danger, yes, but a danger of his own choosing. Finding him would do no good. The hold was more than physical. Valor could see through the other so clearly that he spent most of his time alone. Lunara would speak to him about the past adventures, and Nero escapes the times they almost lost the center, not to invaders or violent takeover, but to company takeover and unexpected bills, things no one cared to pay attention to when they're kicking bags and dodging punches in the school. Lunara looked older now, crow's feet around her eyes, more gray on the edges, and apparent laugh lines on her still gorgeous face. Valor knew how much Alex meant to her. Subconsciously, she was fading away. How would the team function without her? The team was almost invincible with her on it. Valor was reluctant to check the sword for her survival time. Then it happened. The central computer sounded an alert. The spiritual district was under attack. Rogue meta-humans sacking a temple near the Self-Master Park. Valor assembled a small team and took to the skycruiser. When he arrived, he confronted a familiar face, Eva, and the band of dark magicians. They were stealing an ancient artifact for some unknown ritual. Valor confronted Eva, reminding her who she was. She was on the team of the Self-Masters. She didn't know the creed, but she was on the side of good. She blasted at him with an energy bolt. The sword deflected the bolt, and the battle was on. Valor didn't want to kill Eva. Wolf, another magic user on the team, a Self-Masters, also her ex-boyfriend. He would literally fall apart. She was able to cut loose on him. He was on the defensive, taking more punishment as she taunted him. Her followers were barely 20 rotations old. He tried to hit them with only enough force to put them down. The others on Valor team dashed in without restraint. Yellow, Rajun, Christina, and Manchu, the probable casualties, arose in his mind. Valor tried to keep everyone alive, but Eva was everywhere, matching him move for move. She trained with Alex and Wolf in her heyday. Not to mention, she was more powerful than she's ever been. The sword gave him counter-attack sequences, but most were fatal. His inaction resulted in another strike in her favor. Yellow intervened, but she was quickly outmatched by Eva. Eva began laughing frantically as one of her warriors found what they were after. A large statue stood in the middle of the temple. Eva whirled and blasting the base, sending it tumbling down in Yellow's path. Valor lunged almost before it happened, tackling Yellow out of its path, and the sound was tumultuous, the place filled with dust. Not surprisingly, Evan and her crew were gone. Yellow dusted herself off. "What's wrong with you, Valor?" Valor replied, "You're welcome. You let Eva get away." "What did you want me to do? Kill her? Well, maybe. You have no idea of what that would have caused." "What? One dead evil bitch. No one would miss her. Is that what she is to you? But to countless others, she is something more. Her death by our hand would tip the forces of good and evil in ways you couldn't begin to understand." "What? And when did you get so smart? How did you know this? What's her getting away with that artifact is going to cause her? We'll stop her." Valor couldn't really get upset at Yellow. She was at an information deficit. She was now like a well-meaning child who didn't understand how the world operated. Yellow, gather the others and let's go back to the base. 2 weeks later, at the Center of Excellence, a group of Self-Masters are in a conversation. Drandon, Wolf, Yellow, Valor, Manchu, and Rajan. Drandon says that he went look for Alex's body right after the battle in Radgeria, but he didn't find it. They were discussing what could have happened to the body. A bunch of strange ideas were thrown around. One was which he was simply eaten by the monster or other predators in the area. Why didn't Vorik recover the body? Was he too far away from the battle? Trust issues with Vorik were few. The guy is a control freak tyrant, but he's not a liar. Drandon doesn't want to believe that Alex is gone, but Valor knows he's gone, and informs everyone that they have to accept it and rise to their full potential as Self-Masters. Eva hasn't been seen since the temple robbery, and Yellow is a little worried. Drandon decides to go and train starting from the ground up. He leaves the center and goes his own way. Kudo and Seven haven't been seen since the incident. Rumor has it that they finished each other off in a battle over a woman, but that wasn't possible, isn't it? Isn't it forbidden for Self-Masters to fight over a love interest with emotion overwhelmed and making them forget the basic codes of honor? Other Self-Master deserted for other reasons, Master Lunara pored over old footage in remembrance. It was the only thing that seemed to slow her condition. She was the new leader of the Self-Masters, but spent most of her time in quiet delegation and mourning. Later that night, the sword in Valor's bedside began to glow. When he grabbed it, he saw a vision of a man in a trench coat and a hat to match. He was laughing uncontrollably in a sewer grate under the financial district in Brightstar. Up above, the entire upper levels were on fire. People were burning for miles. The fire department scrambled to set their hoses to save whoever they could, or whatever property they could. But a second explosion sent a shockwave, killing incoming rescue. The man covering his head underground, but the laughter never stopped. Valor grabbed the sword and put on his new Self-Master's robe, and he left Center of Excellence. He arrived on the scene to see a man pulling up in a white van. A group of Taijutsu warriors with masks leapt out. They had strange cylinder devices on their belts. Their weapons and battle skills were excellent. Valor lunged in, sword drawn, en route to attack. The men surrounded him, striking with speed and power in all angles. His defenses sprang into action. As he counter-sliced some of the men out of the game, two of them got lucky and tackled Valor to the floor. Sword stabs immediately came en route to his head. He moved and escaped from the ground. Valor switched styles. He went into a Omni Guard. Unexpected strength rose from within a few powerful attacks, and the Taijutsu warriors were sent in retreat. Suddenly, the trenchcoat man punched him in the chest, sending him into a back roll. What? He was obviously not human. No one could possibly punch that hard without Kai. Valor rose to his feet, more determined than before. Valor looked down at his chest to see one of the devices beeping away. With no time to lose, he jumped for the van and removed it and placed it on. The side door. Two men went to the same sewer grate, and then there was a loud explosion. The blast was loud enough to take their hearing for nearly 15 minutes as they battled underneath. Back and forth, they went scrambling and fighting like mad men. It was dark beneath, but the man's jacket opened, revealing cyborg parts. Valor knew just what to do. It became a primary target for the Blade, the BPS, the Brightstar Protective Services, and the BFD, the Brightstar Fire Department, arrived on the scene. They saw a few shadow warriors on the ground next to a blazing van. They began to put out the fire as the detective on the scene began gathering evidence. There were a few business cameras in the area that would tell the tale, but it was late, and they have to wait till morning to gain access. Moments later, Valor opened the sewer lid and climbed out, and then he pulled out a large man with a trench coat, boots, and dangling metal parts from his chest. The BPS came over for questioning. They recognized Valor, and a smart-talking officer broke the silence. Figured one of you would show up next time, little less on the collateral damage. You know, officers, I have a feeling that it could have been a lot worse. Take them away. Valor turned and walked away. So this is what it's like. Valor had his share of sleepless nights. He was no stranger to responsibilities. But now the entire city was like a trouble-prone toddler, and he was the father. Valor spoke out loud. Whoever said they wanted to be team leader deserves a swift kick in the jaw. Back in Black Queen's estate, her children were left to themselves. Most of them was already grown, as she went away on secret business. There were 4 older girls, 2 boys and 1 younger girl. They teased the younger boy horribly. It seemed to be a growing ritual. When violence became the answer, he was always outmatched. When the Black Queen returned, she would be angry for one reason or another. She would yell and beat the older children for disobedience. The boy would cry and try to resolve the situation, but he was casually pushed aside. The Queen realized something was odd about the child. For one, he was quiet, loving, and he was an obedient wimp. She loved him for not causing a headache to her, but he often got the short end of the stick. Elsewhere, Eva was in deep concentration. Magic artifacts surrounded her as she performed unusual rituals. Sweat formed on her brow, her pale skin emitting cold beads of it. Her black and purple dress began to show signs of perspiration. Many of her followers of the dark arts went home. She was locked in concentration night after night, but what was she up to? The Center of Excellence began producing new students. Teams of 2 were growing through the ranks, each taking assignment to better. The city mentors were assigned to boys' homes and foster centers. Food deliveries made to the women in distress centers. Some were sent to protect homeless shelters from sadistic murderers in the city. The city was beginning to feel hopeful. Master Alex's photo hung on the wall in the center, underneath.